Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of OEM TV. I'm Eric Mills with Microsoft. I do Windows Server marketing here. And in this video, you're going to learn about Azure Virtual Networks integrated with Windows Server Essentials. In the video, Paul will take you through quite a few ideas about why you would want to connect your on-prem Active Directory with a virtual network in Azure. So your two networks are connected. He'll start with the basic, like what is a virtual network and how does that help a small medium business. Sometimes these things are not 100% obvious, but he'll take you through the concept about why you should do the connection and just the scope of Azure if you're not 100% familiar with everything that Azure offers or not 100% up to speed. Paul will give you a quick overview of just the scope. And it's really nice to have Azure now because a small and medium business can connect their local network to their Azure network, and they really have a global infrastructure available to them as a small business where they can just pay as they go. So there are a lot of common scenarios where a small and medium business could use Azure and Azure Virtual Networks to conduct business, and Paul will take you through some of those common use cases that would make sense for a small and medium business. He'll also touch on ExpressRoute. So if your company is interested in a really high-speed, dedicated network that connects very fast to Azure, then ExpressRoute is something you should check out, and Paul will talk about that in a little more detail. So if you're interested in networking, you're a small and medium business, you have that on-prem network, and you want to know whether you should connect it up to an Azure Virtual Network, this is the video for you. Hope you enjoy it. We'll see you next time on OEM TV.
In this video, we're going to talk about Windows Server 2016 Essentials Edition and Azure Virtual Network integration. But first, for Windows Server 2016 Essentials Edition, it helps you safeguard your business, improve IT efficiency and productivity, and then it helps you get ready for the cloud. And the ways it does this is in Safeguard Your Business. There's these easy permission settings through the dashboard when you're setting up the system. Allows you to implement Active Directory and file shares and permissions on all of that. And then there's just-in-time and just enough administration, so you can assign people a level of administration for a given period of time. And then there's Windows Defender for malware protection, and there's also the ability to do trusted and secure boot. And then for improved IT efficiency and productivity, there's a new enhanced management experience through the Windows Server 2016 Essentials dashboard. And there's built-in services like file shares, a web server, Active Directory, certificate services, a local desktop backup environment. There's also remote desktop services and PowerShell enhancements to help you manage the environment more efficiently. And then it also helps you get ready for the cloud. So in this case, it's easy Microsoft Cloud integration, and there's a wide variety of integrations in Windows Server 2016 Essential. So there's Azure Active Directory integration, there's Azure Backup and Storage, Azure Virtual Networks, Azure Site Recovery, the Office 365 environment, Microsoft Intune, and then remote management services as well, like remote server management tools and operations management suite. So for this video, we're going to be talking about Azure Virtual Networks. And at a high level, this is an illustration of what's there. So on the left-hand side, you can see the Windows Server 2016 Essentials Edition and the networking that is in that environment. And so you can integrate the applications and the networks. In this case, you'll be creating a virtual network inside of Azure and then connecting it back to your on-premises environment. But in Azure, there's a wide variety of things you can do with that virtual network. I mean, it's just essentially a network that is in Azure that is devoted to you. We'll talk more about that. But there's the ability to do analytics, dev and test, develop mobile apps, do business intelligence and big data, and also Internet of Things, a real wide variety of capabilities that exist in Azure that can help your business move forward. So let's look at Azure. The first thing is Azure is global. There's 38 regions, 100 countries, 600 local data centers, 100 world-class partners. It's trusted, secure and compliant, and it's also designed for hybrid. If we look at the map, you can see there's a tremendous number of partners and also data centers and regions. And then this thing that's also mentioned is an ExpressRoute location. We'll talk more about ExpressRoute in a moment. But the point being that no matter where your business is, you most likely have access to an Azure environment. So inside of Azure, there's the data center infrastructure, and then built on top of that infrastructure are all these services. So virtual machines, container service, storage, various types of networking, domain name system, traffic manager, on and on, a wide variety of infrastructure services that you can take advantage of. And then on top of that are all the platform services. And there are too many here to go into, but just keep in mind that even as a small organization, you have access to all of these platform services and infrastructure services to help you move your business forward. And more small businesses are taking advantage of having a global IT infrastructure at their disposal so they can accelerate the growth of their business. Small businesses today can have far more effect than they could 20 years ago because all of this technology, the same technology that's available to a Fortune 500 company, is available to a 10-person company. That's a huge shift in how businesses can operate today. So for this video, we're just talking about virtual network. But first, I want to take a look at the most common Azure scenarios for SMB customers. 63% of them are storing their data in Azure. 57% are hosting apps in the cloud with Azure virtual machines. And those can actually be on a virtual network that is connected back to on-premises. And then 52% are hosting their websites in Azure, and 43% are backing up their data to Azure. So there's a lot of statistical proof here that small businesses are taking advantage of Azure in a pretty significant way. So for Azure Virtual Networks and what it is, a virtual network is an Azure service that enables you to securely connect Azure resources to each other with virtual networks. So that would be if you've got multiple resources within Azure and you wanted to use a virtual network or a series of virtual networks to connect all of those applications or resources, you can do so. And that separates them out from just the multi-tenant environment. And so a VNet is a representation of your own network in the cloud. It's like your small bubble network inside of Azure. But then you can also connect these virtual networks to your on-premises network. And there's a couple different ways to do that. You can have an encrypted tunnel or a VPN, or you can have a direct connection, and there's a couple different types of direct connections. You can just do it through your internet service provider, or you can opt to do this next one, which is a thing called ExpressRoute. Now, ExpressRoute isn't available everywhere, but what it does is it gives you a direct connection between your network, your on-premises network, and the Microsoft network. So it goes through a partner environment and gives you a solid connection between your network and the Microsoft network. So it's unified connectivity to Microsoft Cloud services. You get predictable performance. It's enterprise-grade resiliency with a high SLA. And then there's becoming more and more of these over time. And so you can see that you've got your network, the partner edge, the connection, and the Microsoft edge, and you can access a wide variety of services inside the Microsoft network. The one on the bottom is Azure. So your virtual network in Azure would be connected via this high-speed environment. It comes in a range of speeds. So depending upon what you're doing as an organization, you may not need the highest speed, which is 10 gigabits a second, and it's also the most expensive. You may need something significantly less than that is also significantly less expensive. So it gives you the ability to connect your network directly into the Microsoft network and into that Azure virtual network that you would create to run the rest of your infrastructure or to run new infrastructure or to expand your business in a global way. So in summary, you can accelerate your digital transformation by combining Windows Server 2016 Essentials and Azure Virtual Networks in Azure and all of the services that are there. And you extend your on-premises compute environment to that global IT infrastructure of Azure. If you need a website in Europe, fine, create one. If you need to run a virtual machine in Singapore, fine, create one. And you can run that all on the same virtual network that is connected back to on-premises. And you can employ cloud technologies to extend your reach and capability, like I just mentioned. And then you can use the dedicated high-speed networking if you want to, if it's needed, if it's required for your environment. And then obviously you can move forward at your own pace by having a single virtual network in Azure and then connecting it back to on-premises that you can take advantage of everything that Azure offers. So you can move forward and adopt these different technologies at your own pace and expand your business at your own pace but it would be faster than if you tried to do it all on premises. With that, thank you very much for watching.